Let me start with a small confession. I have said I will follow up more times than I want to admit. And yes, there were moments when follow up turned into, I forgot. Honestly, keeping our word sounds like a simple task until life shows up with meetings, emails, family stress, and yeah, exhaustion. Keeping our word sits at the center of trust. Trust sits at the center of leadership. No trust, no leadership. No trust at home, no peace. Now, today, we're going to take a short journey together. We will first explore 5 questions leaders rarely pause long enough to ask about commitment and trust. Second, we will surface blind spots and risks. And lastly, we will land on 5 strategies for growth. And the good news is that all of this applies to both our work and personal life because living authentically does not require us to be shapeshifters. Now, let us begin with the very first question. Whose definition of commitment matters most? The speaker or the listener? When you make a promise, your brain is focused on intent. You mean well, you plan to act, and you picture effort. However, the listener hears certainty, they hear a timeline, and they hear assurance. This gap between good intent and listener certainty creates frustration. You believe you tried, they believe you promised. Remember that leadership growth starts when you shift from intention to perception. Trust forms when your words land the way others receive them, not the way you mean them. Once expectations form, life steps in. That brings me to our second question. What happens to trust when circumstances change? Now, we all know life moves quickly, life changes fast. Projects will shift, priorities are going to stack up, and emergencies will interrupt your carefully crafted plans. The promise stays alive in the other person's mind, and the silence fills in the gap. Trust does not break when the plans change. Trust breaks when communication disappears. Leaders who speak up early protect relationships. Leaders who go quiet invite doubt. People respect honesty, even when the outcome is disappointment. Now, as trust forms, people start watching more closely, which leads me to my very third question. Does sacrifice strengthen trust? Easy promises build comfort. Hard promises reveal values. When follow through costs time, energy, or convenience, people notice, and people learn what matters most to you. Trust grows when people see alignment between words and priorities. Therefore, sacrifice signals sincerity. It tells others you matter enough for the effort. And this is something really important to think about. When you do things and you give someone your word, they notice when you align yourself with what you have said, and those steps that you take show not only dignity and respect for the people you are doing it for, but it also is a moment for building character and leadership. Now, we move into the leadership lens for our next question, which is question number 4. How does power shape promises? When leaders promise down, teams attach hope. When leaders promise up, the stakes raise. Now, we all know that power multiplies impact. A missed promise from a leader echoes longer and louder. Leadership requires intentionality with words. A casual comment from you might feel like a guarantee to someone else. Authority magnifies meaning. Therefore, we must be able to measure our words and speak with intentionality. Even strong leaders miss sometimes. I've been there. And that leads to my final question. What role does repair play after a broken promise? Everyone breaks commitments. Integrity shows up in what follows. Repair begins with ownership. No excuses, no blame, just clarity. I've missed this. Here is the impact. Here is what comes next. People trust leaders who repair faster than those leaders who hide. Repair turns mistakes into credibility builders. Here are a few common blind spots to prepare for and remember. Leaders treat all promises the same. Small favors and life-changing commitments differ in weight. Leaders confuse good intent with good impact. Leaders overcommit during stressful times. Leaders forget how long people remember disappointment. Leaders avoid repair conversations because discomfort feels, you guessed it, uncomfortable. Now, these patterns show up at work and at home. Missed calls, late arrivals, unspoken expectations. Trust erodes quietly. Growth starts with awareness. Now, here are 5 strategies to strengthen commitment and trust. Strategy number 1. Speak commitments clearly. Say what you will do. Say when. Write it down. Repeat it back because clarity removes confusion. Strategy number 2. Shrink promises before offering them. Smaller commitments protects integrity. Reliability beats ambition every single time. Strategy number 3. Track promises like real work. If a commitment matters, place it in your system. Your calendar and reminders support character. Strategy number 4. Communicate early when obstacles appear. Early honesty preserves trust. Silence damages relationships. Strategy number 5. Practice clean repair. What does that mean? It means name the miss, own the impact, offer next steps. Repair restores the confidence. So, my friends, here's a leadership truth. If your calendar knows your commitments better than you, trust your calendar. Humility helps leadership grow. This work sits at the core of Leader Insights. Leadership lives in daily behaviors. Trust grows through follow through. Culture reflects kept promises. Now, Leader Insight supports leaders through the coaching, our trainings, and tools that build clarity, accountability, and repair skills. As you know, growth happens through practice, not slogans. Here are your next steps. List 5 active commitments, personal or professional, it doesn't matter, and ask one simple question. Does my follow through reflect a leader people trust? And sit with that question for a little bit. If growth feels necessary for you after you examine your response, Leader Insight stands ready to support you in your journey. Strong leadership begins with keeping your word. Reach out to learn more. Links are in my bio. As always, thank you for watching, and thank you for choosing integrity, clarity, and trust. I will see you on the next one.